The squirrel was magic! Heyo, it's your boy, Officer Mango, and this is Andrew because he didn't want to dress up. It's October, so here we are, me, in my sexy getup that I didn't plan on wearing, that I was provided by our cameraman, who has immeasurable taste, as you can tell with this hat. These sunglasses belonged to Andrew, but he wanted to look normal, so I took them. But how about you, Andrew? How's your day?
All right, except I'm looking at you.
Oh, sad story, bro. I got dissed. These sunglasses are gonna come off at some point. I just wanted to make the full impression. I'm gonna proceed to continue talking like an idiot. But anyway, been 3 weeks. Been having good times. Don't know what I'm talking about. It's cool.
I was gonna say you're not even speaking words.
Our words that we're gonna speak about are figures at first, as always. This hat's messing with my brain. If you haven't realized, it's kind of constricting. It's smaller than my head. So, you know, whatever. Can't form cohesive thoughts sometimes. It's cool. Andrew, talk about your first figure. Wow. I actually brought my figures this time.
Yeah,
for
once.
Different. Yeah.
Well, my figures are actually a pairing, which, from anybody that watches the series would immediately know. Ryoko and Satsuki from Kill la Kill. Not much to say about them other than that they're in their... Shit, what is it called again?
Kamui for Ryuko. Sanketsu.
You got that mixed up.
Sanketsu is her suit's actual name. Kamuis are the names of the outfits in general.
Kamui, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, I said that first.
Okay, well, you said Kamui for Ryoko, and you were trying to say... And then you said Sanketsu, you were starting to say for Satsuki.
Yeah, but then like her sword's Bakuzen, and then Ryuko's sword is
It doesn't have a name. It's just a scissor blade.
It's scissors, the sword.
Scissor blade.
But now it's in its executioner mode, which is Andrew says it comes with the normal blades in addition to the executioner mode blades.
But the executioner mode just seemed like it would better with with her pose that she's in.
Yeah.
And then Satsuki's is just her standard pose.
Mm-hmm. Turn them around, Andrew. show them how revealing the backside of fucking Satsuki is.
Anybody that watches the show should not be surprised at all.
Andrew bought these figures for a reason, and you all know that.
Oh, shut up.
These are the normal ones, not his spares.
Hey. I don't have spares.
Alright, anyway, I'm going to take my sunglasses off now. It's kind of inappropriate because it's sunny in here. By sunny, I mean bright. But I'm keeping the hat, though, because according to my working friends who work with me, when I wear a hat, my hair kind of looks like Ash Ketchum hair. So I feel like I can catch them all with this hat. But it's kind of like a JoJo hat for any of the anime fans watching this. I kind of think it looks like, I think his name is, I don't watch too much JoJo, but the second season JoJo kind of looks like his hat. But anyway, I'm going to say that's the cosplay I'm going for, even though it's a lie. My figures I brought, which I never bring figures. Actually, let's go Gentoki first, because I brought Gentoki figures before. Like this. But I think this is the last one I haven't brought yet. The only thing really to say about it is I like the stand because it's got all these cool letterings on it, which is similar to the episode titles in every episode of Gintama. They always have silly titles, and they always like pop up in this kind of lettering format. It's probably down here. Yeah. It's probably hard to see, but
you see it fine.
You see it fine?
Yeah.
But yeah. like, I think an example of a good episode title is "The conversation you have with a barber is the most pointless thing in the world." They all have certain titles similar to that. But there's my Gintoki figure. This is Hijikata. He's the police chief in Gintama. He smokes. He is also addicted to mayonnaise, and gets made fun of for it. He's addicted to mayonnaise. He eats it constantly. His
just straight up eats it.
Yeah, and his cigarette lighter is shaped like mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
And lots of gags involving that. And this isn't supposed to be with him, but I got this little figure of this other Gintama character named Kamui, and he like perfectly goes on Hijikata's sword. So I just kind of put it there because it looks funny. He's like a little martial arts dude, and I dropped him. Not too much to say about him because he's so small, but I like him on the sword, so I put him there. So there's Hijikata. He's beautiful. And I'll put Kamui over here because he's falling off. And this is a present from our guy to the left and to your right, Andrew. And it's Rem in all of her waifu ability with her awesome cake because it was a late birthday present, so she has a cake because, you know, cakes and birthdays and stuff. She's got a fluffy stand. This is so fluffy. I love it. I just want to put my hand on it and rub it back and forth because it's so fluffy. Yeah, good figure. I enjoyed it. I thanked Andrew much for it. Thank you, Andrew, again.
Yep, no problem.
For that great figure.
Yeah, I'm sorry it was such a late birthday. It just took forever to get here.
It's okay. It's cool. We're good. So if you've seen the title of the video, you probably know what this one's about. But it's just gonna be a kind of general, our opinions kind of podcast. Nothing too deep or complex. Just a fun, opinionated podcast. And since it's October, we're going to focus on monsters. Kaiju-sized monsters.
Not all of them on these lists are going to be...
Especially my list.
Are not going to be kaiju-sized or even kaiju in general.
Yeah.
They're just monsters that we enjoy that would be good kaiju if they were ever made into them.
Yeah, I think the height and stuff size of most of mine are kaiju-sized, but
they're
not actually kaiju.
Yeah. We still have kaiju on the list, but some of them are not.
Yeah, a lot of mine are from anime, manga, and video games.
I think I have one from anime.
Yeah, so, as you do. But, I guess I should start my list. We're going to be alternating back and forth, starting at our number 10s and working our way down. Mm-hmm. So, my number 10 pick for my kaiju is actually a very strange one. I got crap kind of from Andrew and the cameraman for picking it just because it doesn't really look like a monster at all. But it's Ramiel from Evangelion. It's just a giant floating blue diamond. But it is alive, and we've talked about it on the podcast before, so I won't linger on them too much. But it makes this awesome kind of like whale noise. Like, I love the sound design of it.
Like an underwater like whale or a dolphin shriek.
Yeah, just kind of like as it just hovers. It just hovers across.
Oh, look, we got a message from Corey.
Corey, I took over C Mark caressing fuzzy toys. If I didn't know, I would be terrified. But I do. I caress everything fuzzy because I am a connoisseur of fuzz.
And you complain about that, but not about him dressing up like a fucking stripper cop. What the hell, Corey?
It's because Corey likes the stripper cop look, as he should. But yeah, Ramiel makes these really cool sound effects. And whenever it's exposed to damage, it like freaks out and its body shifts into like spikes and it
turns into like a mace ball.
Yeah, it's basically like a giant living geometrical nightmare. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Pretty much.
And then when it dies, it's got like this death screech and it explodes into a fountain of blood that covers
a city covering mountain of blood.
Yeah, a mountain city covering fountain of blood when it dies. So even though it doesn't look necessarily like a kaiju, it is alive and completely sentient and likes to destroy cities, as kaiju should.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's pass it on to Andrew's number 10 pick then.
My number 10 pick is one from a B-ranked movie that not a lot of people probably know about. It's called Reptilian, and the monster in it is called Yongary. Which I know there is an old 60s or 70s version of the same thing, but...
Got a picture up of it now.
That's the new version. The old one is just like the old classic Godzilla stuff. It's in the suit. It looks really cheesy and everything. But even in that the reptilian look for Youngarian here is still...
You got cusser, gotta bring my own. Whatever you want, baby.
Wow.
Just kidding. Don't take that too literally.
But then he doesn't have... The animation for the movie is really pretty terrible, but it overall is still a good movie. But like Youngari is a ancient skeleton that they're finding out in the middle of the desert, and they slowly things start happening. Like as they're unearthing, people start dying. The excavation team starts dying, and nobody can figure out why. They're just like, okay, just pass out the body and just keep digging. But they don't know that there is an alien race that's trying to conquer the world, like always, and is waiting for the humanity to unearth him so they can bring him back to life. And all the deaths that are happening is basically they're trying to speed up their process and by making the bones come back to the original skeleton. So like there's a guy trying to put a tarp over it, and one of the teeth that's far away flies out and goes straight through the guy and goes right back into its spot. So it's like, well, okay, they can't wait. And then when they do bring him back to life, he's under their control and is destroying cities and outsmarting the military like always. But
As
then
you do in kaiju movies.
Yeah. And then when they do finally free him, because he has something called a daemon, which is literally just a diamond-shaped symbol on his forehead, they destroy that, and then he's free, and Youngari never actually was evil. He's a peaceful creature.
But he just got angry.
He just got angry because he was being controlled.
But from a design perspective, it looks pretty cool.
It does. It's like a mix between like Godzilla, Zilla, a few other things like that. And I really do enjoy the design. Just a shame that it's a B-ranked movie, so it doesn't get as much recognition as it should.
That's why we're giving it on the most popular podcast on the internet, so everyone can know about the greatness of Youngari.
I just wouldn't mind spreading a little bit of word about him, because the movie itself is pretty cool.
From what I see, it looks nice. I like it. But so is that your is that your entry on the number 10?
Yeah, pretty much. There's not a whole lot to say about Youngari.
Yeah. But anyway, I guess I will go to my number 9 now, and this is from a video game series, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. It's Quadratus from Shadow of the Colossus, which actually I have not played Shadow of the Colossus, but I am very, very interested in doing so. And I went and like looked up all the different, because I knew I just had to include one of these on the list because they're just so unique and interesting looking. All I think it's 15 of the colossi from the series.
Dang.
But yeah, like I just love how its mask is like all tribal and creepy, and it's got these creepy golden eyes, and like all the, like if you don't know, in Shadow of the Colossus, the whole game is boss fights. It's just you ride a horse from one location to the other, like your sword glows as you get closer to them. And then you just have to take out these kaiju, well, which are called colossi. And that's the whole game. And every single different one, you have to climb it. And, like, it's a puzzle climbing up them. And you have to, like, strike their weak point, which, once you find it, like, these tattoos symbols appears on the creature. And you have to strike it repeatedly. It'll knock you off. And you have to, like, go about each one as, like, a different puzzle, kind of, to climb and defeat them. And this thing, like, I watched the boss fight for it. Out of the designs, I think this one was the most animalistic and interesting. A lot of them look more humanoid, but kind of sounds like an elephant. It's
Could have a lead singer of Judas Priest.
Yes, sir. Met him in person and got it signed. That's a lie. What's that picture?
I don't know what that little picture is.
It's almost as beautiful as my hat, I'm sure.
Oh, it looks like somebody laughing, crying, or something. Couldn't see it for a second there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But yeah, I just think it's a really interesting, unique design with like the humanoid face, and just I wanted to just give some love to Shadow of the Colossus because that game needs all the recognition it can get, because everything I've seen about it looks amazing. I'm gonna download the crap out of it now that I talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play it, and then I'll have more context. But yeah, there's my number 9 pick. Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
And my number 9 one is the Ultimasaurus. It's this thing is from Jurassic Park. It's supposed to be a hybrid, obviously, by the look of it. But did it come with a whip? Wow.
Nah, I lost my whip, sadly.
But it was never truly brought. Reminds me a little bit of, what's that?
The Balrog. Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. For sure. With like the face, kind of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a mix of an Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus, Velociraptor, T-Rex, and Triceratops.
Mm-hmm.
And there was supposed to be an animated series about Jurassic Park after the first movie, but it failed miserably and never got made. And there was supposed to be a comic line and a game. None of those happened.
Oh, Jesus. I'm glad you were finally getting a countdown like this one. That's interesting.
Oh, it's from Corey.
Like so mysterious. Damn, Corey. That is a paragraph that I appreciate. But no, yeah, it's a pretty nifty one. If you ever watch Evangelion, which you should, I think you'd like it.
It is. There's a lot of those crazy looking things.
Yeah, all the angels are really nifty looking. I just think that Ramiel kind of just shines with how out of left field it is compared to all the others, which look more like living organisms.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to your creature.
But it's like, I know he was only supposed to be a dinosaur, but in the Godzilla universe, there is plenty of dinosaur-looking creatures, and a lot of them are pretty out there looking. So I honestly cannot see why the Ultimasaurus would not be an interesting kaiju, whether a Godzilla monster or just a kaiju itself, because it's a freak of nature,
mm-hmm.
and even more so than people bitch about like the Indominus Rex. That thing would have owned the Indominus like nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks pretty savage, to be honest.
Well, yeah, it's basically got the same body style as Indominus, but everything else that would have made it the ultimate killing machine. Hence its name, the Ultimasaurus. But yeah, it's like, I wouldn't have mind seeing that thing actually exist at some point, but everything that it was supposed to be in just got canceled and shut down, so it never even got to exist.
Dang, dude. I'm glad that you're representing the misfits.
The misfits often look the best, and they get no love because they never got to be filmed, viewed, or anything.
Yeah. Cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your NEO number 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Back to you.
Back to mine. It'll be my number 8. It's the Berserk Ava. This is the final one from Evangelion. It's actually the only one, maybe on either of our lists, that are from the same series. 2 from the same series. Not including honorable mentions.
Well, okay, they're not including honorable mentions, yeah.
Yeah, not including honorable mentions. I think it's the only one on either of our lists that's from 2 from the same series. But the Avas themselves from Evangelions, when they lose their minds, I guess if you want to say, they're I just love like I think it's anachronistic maybe, just the mixture of like flesh and robotics.
Yeah.
Put together and to make a creature. And the way it moves is really cool too, because it's whole. Well, first of all, it has like a normal mech face until it goes crazy, and then it just cracks.
It has like an actual humanistic mouth.
Has like a humanistic robo teeth and glowing eyes, and then it goes from being bipedal to on all fours. For the most part, when it runs,
sprawling like a spider.
It runs like a creepy horror movie. Like villain, you know,
and it eats things. It literally eats things.
Yeah, and they bleed, and the people inside feel the pain because like they take control over their pilots.
Yeah,
the pilots can't control anything, and they have muscles,
tendons.
Do they have bones? I think bones is the only thing they don't have.
Yeah, they just don't have bones.
They don't have bones, but they are just terrifying creatures of pure malice and hatred, and it's because they're part angel. I mean,
yeah,
so. Yeah, I just love the mixture of technology and more organic material, and the way it moves and sounds and carries itself is pretty darn cool. That one specifically is Unit 2, the purple one. But most of it.
No, that's Unit 1.
My bad, Unit 1. Unit 2 is the red one, right?
Yeah, Asuka has the red one.
Yeah, which can go just as crazy, if not more so, because Asuka is crazy herself.
In the new movies is when they really showed what they can actually do. In the movies, Asuka's Unit 2 has a beast mode, and it actually turns like the face, which doesn't really have a mouth at all. In that one, it actually turns into like a canine creature, and it's fully on all fours, sprouts a tail, cat-like body. It really goes nuts.
Yeah, they're creepy.
They can be creepy.
Yeah. So that's the end of my number 8. Shoot back over to Andrew for his number 7. Or your number 8.
Yeah, my number 8.
Your number 8.
My number 8 is actually the only one on my list from an anime, not counting some of the other types, but kind of a full anime. It's from Cross Ange, and its name is Aura. Just like it's supposed to be the god or goddess of dragons, the first ever dragon, and she doesn't get very much to do in there because she's been prisoner for most of the series. But when she does get free, as you can see, she glows, she radiance. She has huge-ass wings. She has no legs, but she flies around all the time. Image. Yeah, they don't have very good images of her because there never really is a full shot of her.
Okay.
But they have that. She has arms, but what I really like is her mouth. Her mouth, she has a top jaw like normal, but her bottom jaw can split into like 3 segment pieces.
Going full Predator.
More or less, but mostly it's kind of like what Corey's going to get mad at this about, but kind of like Shin Godzilla, of being able to split its jaw, but it has an extra piece down the middle.
We're talking about Corey's favorite Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy.
Sarcasm! But she actually is a kaiju sized. Like the dragons they deal with in there, they'll fight some that are a few 100 feet long. Aura dwarfs all of them. Like there's giant ships that they fly around with that are like almost city size, and she dwarfs the ships.
Damn.
She is truly a kaiju.
So she's like city busting, island busting. She just blows up everything.
But she's peaceful. She doesn't want to fight.
That's cool.
She got captured because this guy was trying to manipulate the world. Where she came from was at like a parallel Earth where there was no violence. So she was like a peaceful deity dragon. And she just was being lived and had her life force siphoned out of her to provide her life and mana and everything for this other world. She was still able to survive and everything, but she was unconscious and being drained of power.
I see.
So yeah, cool design, kind of a sympathetic type thing for her.
Probably the nicest kaiju on this list.
She can be mean if she has to, but she typically is a pacifist. Okay. She doesn't like to fight.
I see.
But yeah, as you can see from the picture, there's not much to see and not much to really talk about her because she's only in there like in the last 2 episodes.
I can see why I picked it though. It looks really nifty.
Oh yeah,
has a cool role.
Yeah, I do. I really do enjoy her. That's about it for Aura.
Alrighty. So to my number 7, it's actually from an anime from Naruto, but the Naruto it's Chome, the 7 tails from Naruto. But Naruto is full of tailed beasts. They range from 9 to 1, and if you know anything about Naruto, you know Naruto is the 9-tailed fox.
Yep.
But this is actually one of the tailed beasts, or no, they're just called tailed beasts. Jinchuriki are the possessees.
Yeah.
But one of the tailed beasts that didn't get much focus, which is really sad because I think from a design standpoint, it's the best.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful.
It's 6 wings, which are classified as tails, and 1 actual tail.
It's tails or it's wings. It's a giant beetle, which is awesome, and then it's got its outer shell looks like a night shell, and which is cool because in Japanese, like beetle has the same kanji as kabuto, which means helmet, which they're referring mostly to knight type helmets. So the fact that it looks like a knight is in line with its name, or with like the beetle aesthetic in Japanese. And
it has the same grilled pattern in front of its eyes, just like a knight's helmet would too.
And I think when it uses its tailed beast bomb, its grilled helmet eye thing opens up and that's its mouth.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
No.
I thought
it just fires straight out in front of it.
That could have been video game exaggeration, because I saw that in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm.
Where it opens its mouth?
I think so, yeah. Like, they always exaggerate things. Like, they give more detail to all the tail beasts because they're playable. So I think that might have been a video game only thing. But it looked really cool in the game.
I could see how that would look really cool.
Yeah, but as with all the other tailed beasts, its main attack is this thing called the tailed beast bomb, where it just absorbs a large amount of, like, black energy and just fires it out like a Kamehameha laser beam. Laser beam.
Laser beam.
Laser beam. But, yeah. I mean, as far as all the tailed beasts are concerned, I think it's probably, like, the most original, outside of maybe, we don't have a picture example, but I would say like the 3 tails, which is like a turtle, human faced, whatever. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. I've gotten wrong. Hold on, I forget to draw a question. Attempt to edge up the design of the existing character simply by not putting too much fine point on it.
Oh, talking about Aura.
Or talking about Shin Godzilla, right?
I think on the whole bifurcating jaw question.
What nettles me is when they attempt to edge up the design of an existing character simply by, not to put too much of a fine point on it, predator-ifying their face. So maybe that was in regards to the aura, but you were talking about Shin Godzilla's face.
Well,
too.
just because Shin Godzilla's jaw splits open.
That was Corey, probably.
It says Magic Squirrel Network.
Well, he is an admin, so.
Well, he just used it last time. He's just been doing it on his own name.
Yeah.
So confusing.
On his phone, it probably goes to that. And if he has to be on a computer for it to say his name.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's probably on his phone now.
He's just giving his excuse why he doesn't like Shin Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, I know that's just kind of my running gag with you on that one, Corey, because you keep always complaining about Shin's jaw, but Aura pulls it off pretty well though, because she can actually control it though, like to where she doesn't always when she doesn't open her jaw to roar, she doesn't have to completely split. She can open and roar just like normal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of a show of force type thing, because it's like, okay, that's pretty creepy having a dragon that can split its mouth like that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's about all I have to say about Shonen. Just also nice coloration, blue and orange together,
and green.
And green. It's a nice flow. I like how it flows upward and changes colors as it goes.
Yeah,
I just love that design. Kind of even looks like a flower even.
Yeah,
I can keep talking about it all day, so I should shut up and send it over to Andrew.
All right, my seventh one is the Alien Queen, which I know that one is not classified as a kaiju at all, just as a giant monster.
We've established this.
But still, can you not say that seeing her as some kind of, like, I know she's already, they vary, but they're typically about like 20, 30 feet tall. So that's pretty good size already. Mm-hmm. But one that's the size of a building and still has all the abilities, the smart, everything that they always naturally have, but just supersized, that would be absolutely terrifying. And that the fact that they could even breed even more xenomorphs from a bigger body, it would easily overrun the world if it was giant. Mm-hmm. And they already can pretty much do that just as a normal size queen. Yeah. But just, I love the queen's design. It's, quite honestly, it's terrifying.
Which movie is that queen design from? Because it appeared in Alien vs. Predator, but didn't it also appear in one of the normal?
It appeared in Aliens.
Okay.
But the one in Alien vs. Predator, I think, was probably like the original queen, because it was so much larger than the others. Yeah. But what's this?
Listening to Andrew Sefton talk about giant monsters will give a glimpse into what the complete mastery of a subject sounds like, and in all fairness, Mark ain't too much of a slouch either. Catch it now live! Leather Daddy hat. Leather Daddy Kaiju Podcast is the new title. We'll have to edit it.
Wow.
I like being called Daddy. It makes me feel powerful. Thanks, Corey. That's our new play name together.
Why are you encouraging him, Corey?
Not in a gay way, even though I don't know how you're supposed to interpret this hat in a non-gay way. It's cool.
God, shut up.
It's fan service for all the ladies watching, all two of them.
Wow.
Too bad Andrew doesn't have a cool police hat.
I got the hair.
It's not as cool as a police hat. You have the hair every week. No, everyone's used to it. This is
something
new and fresh. Next time, girls, it's a firefighter uniform.
Oh, he's lying. He's lying.
I say girls, but it's only guys watching this podcast. Back to you, Andrew. People bringing up all these strange subjects.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it's because you're wearing the damn hat.
I'm fixing the hat.
I mean, really, there's not so much extra to say about the queen.
Yeah, she's just like a bigger xenomorph.
Yeah, I mean, and from anybody that's ever seen Aliens or AVP or anything, they already know what she can do and everything about her. So just imagine her just giant-sized and already terrifying enough.
You ready for something off topic?
Sure, why not? We've been off topic the whole damn thing. Why
Guess
not?
what I watched today?
What did you watch?
I watched a video. It was about an ant colony, and I found out that they have many queens, and after that, the queens perform their duty and have all the babies. They kill every queen besides one by biting their heads off.
Yes.
Metal. That's it. We're talking about queens. It reminded me. Whatever. It's cool. We're on camera. Everyone was interested.
Encourage my lurkers in every depraved avenue. Thanks, Corey.
That hat. See, Jennifer gets it. She understands my hat's cool. I'm glad. Thanks. I appreciate you too.
Anyway, your turn, Mark.
My turn. And this one.
6.
Yeah, number 6. Is Isley of the North. And it's going to be a black and white image because it's only from the manga. as the anime. This is from Claymore, by the way. But the anime of Claymore got cut really early. They never got to Isley of the North. He's actually a human who can transform into this because in Claymore there's these but there's these monsters called Yoma, and the more powerful Yoma that have ascended from their original state, which normally they just kind of look like goblin people, are called awakened ones, and they can take any form.
Oh.
And this guy's named Isley. He's like super old, and his awakened form is this giant badass centaur. And I like centaurs anyway. Normal people probably come up to his ankle. Like, he's huge, so he's definitely kaiju sized. But what's cool about Isley of the North is, once again, with that kind of same bias as I had with Chome last time, you can't see too well in this picture, but his entire like facial structure and body is like, his skin looks like knight armor, which is really cool. And then he has like his arms are all plated, and you can see there, like, you see the like
thing in his hand.
It's actually not in his hand. His arm spreads out and can become any weapon, but in that form, it's actually like a multi-headed bow and arrow.
That's what I thought,
he can shoot like bows like crazy, and he can transform his hand into axe, into a spear, and throw it. He can like throw like those tentacles out the back and become wings, and he can fly. He's like a shape-shifting giant centaur nightman, which is cool.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Just pretty freaking cool. And I wish I had better pictures of him. I wish I had colored pictures of him, but that's the original introduction panel from the manga of Isley. And he just has a really cool presence in the manga. Like, whenever he shows up, you know people are about to get screwed over. And he's not the strongest character in the series, but he's like the only kaiju. Well, no, there's plenty of kaiju-sized ones, but he's my favorite kaiju-sized creature. The strongest character from Claymore is actually named Priscilla, but she's just like a really wacky-looking human monster.
Huh.
But yeah, not too much to say about Isley, other than just saying that out of every centaur I've ever seen, he's the coolest, and transforming limbs is badass. So
that is pretty badass.
So yeah, there's my number 6 pick. Yeah. And on to Andrew's.
All right, my number 6 pick is it's actually a Pokemon, and it actually is a kaiju sized one.
Oh, nice.
It's Ultra Necrozma.
Oh, see, I actually never played Black and White 2, so I never really got to see an Ultra Necrozma in the game.
Ultra Necrozma is from Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
That one. Ultra. I said 2, didn't I?
You said Black and White.
Wow. what I meant was Sun and Moon 2, which is still wrong, but I never played Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Well, you should. Because Ultra Necrozma is pretty badass.
He looks badass, but
he's entirely like made out of light energy, so whenever you see him, his body is like fluctuating to maintain its shape.
Stark contrast to normal Necrozma, who is solid black.
Solid black and made out of like diamond crystal-like things, which he's
still like number 10, just in a humanoid form in black. like name Ramiel.
No.
Just
well, kind of. He still has some of the variants of himself, like his Ultra Necrozma's legs, his chest, and some of the ends of his arms. They still have his original diamond body, but they're crystalled in yellow, and Ultra Necrozma is actually his true form. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he has 4 wings, and none of them actually make contact with his body. Like, they're just barely there, but they're just close enough that they can attach, but they're separate. But in the game, he truly is massive in size. He actually is a kaiju-sized Pokemon.
How do they portray that in the battle? Like, does it zoom out, or do they kind of downsize him for the battle?
For the battle, they downsize him, but like in the cutscene when you walk up to him, he is massive, and he's just. I really enjoy his eyes. If I remember right, he has 2 different colored eyes, kind of like Necrozma actually does. Huh. But he's still really cool. He's basically the light embodiment energy of a dragon.
Nice. Is he actually dragon type?
Yeah.
Yeah, Charizard had to wait till he got a Mega Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silly talk, man.
But yeah, not much to say about Ultra Necrozma because he can't stay like that permanently. Like, he has to be merged with Solgaleo or Lunala.
Which is funny, since Lunala is kind of like dark energy. You'd think Lunala wouldn't turn into like the light being.
Well, he needs their power to turn into his true form. So then even after you catch him, you have to have one of them in your party, merge it with Necrozma, becomes like the Dusk Wing or whatever they are, and then you can merge them into it. But he's still pretty badass.
Yeah. Looks pretty cool.
Need to make the image expandable.
Expando images? Can you make the image any bigger? Is that a thing? Oh, you can? We will expand it since you asked.
Yeah, see there.
We don't need faces. The sexy cop hat can wait.
But yeah, like as you can see there, he
does look kind of abstract, so I understand.
Yeah.
From far away, especially.
But he's still a very impressive looking creature.
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe we occasionally when we first show up the images, we'll do a zoom in, just to kind of give everyone a better look at everything.
But yeah,
but yeah, he looks really cool. Huh?
Probably watched on the phone.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, yeah, not much more to say about him, but I just really do enjoy the design of him and the fact that his body, like I said, it fluctuates around. So it's like part of his body will be like perfectly like that, but then he'll shrink in or expand out or something. So it's hard for him to stay a solid shape.
He's fluid.
He basically
he's malleable.
He's like light
welcome.
energy trying to stay focused in one particular area. But yeah, not much more to say about Ultra Necrozma.
Okay, yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
We are staying on this 90s cartoon ride for a little bit. Because now we're going to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or as people who like correct pronunciations might know it, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's Slifer, the Sky Dragon.
One of the Egyptian gods.
One of the Egyptian gods. It was kind of a hard pick between Slifer and Ra. Because I do like Ra too. I think Obelisk is cool, but going more for Kaiju, I was looking for more like a monster kind of look. But yeah, most anime and manga fans probably know about Slifer. But our cameraman couldn't tell, but you see he has two mouths, and that's badass. But no, double mouth designs have always done it for me personally.
Yeah.
If you've seen Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki's mask is like a mouth. It's a zipper, and he opens it, and when it's open, it looks like another mouth, and then he yells, and he's got two mouths, and it has this cool like duplicity kind of thing going for it that I like.
I think that's the reason why I liked Slifer so much out of the three Egyptian gods, because in addition to his design, the long serpentine like Eastern dragon looking design, the weapon armors on his head.
I like the color complement by the blue crystal too. He's like completely red and black, but he's got this blue crystal on his forehead. It kind of just, when we talk about monster designs, I think color kind of gets overlooked a lot. I like when color comes together well, and I think Slifer's like color palette is like great.
Yeah, and then like also the mouths. Like I really enjoyed the mouths.
Yeah.
Like that is just a really cool design of having, but he can't use them at the same time. Whenever he wants to use one, he has to close the other one.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll just chalk that up to like the anime's decision and pretend in canon that he can do it.
Well, there was this stuff in one of the anime episodes where he does roar using both mouths.
Yeah, check the manga for that. Neither of us have read the manga really, but
yeah.
Also, what else I kind of like about Slifer is although he's an Eastern dragon, he's got Western dragon wings.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, Eastern dragons fly on magical power and don't have wings at all.
Yeah.
So Slifer kind of combines Western and Eastern dragons by having traditional wings in addition to the Eastern body style.
And the fact also that he's so...
Cameraman? Who is this, you ask? Okay. I've been lying to all of you this entire time. There is no cameraman. We've been manipulating the images with our own psychic powers. But we called him cameraman to disguise everything.
If we had that,
then I would hat that you can't see.
If we did that, I would have psychically ripped that hat off your head by now.
Then you would have psychically lost half of our comments complimenting my hat. Whoever's watching this needs to tell Andrew that the hat should stay.
Notice I said if I had the powers, I would rip the hat off.
That's fair. He's just jealous that he didn't get the hat and I got to it first.
I don't like hats.
We gave him the whip.
I don't like hats. And I'm not using the whip.
Can't say I didn't try. But yeah, there's Slifer. He's just great. One of the cooler looking Yu-Gi-Oh monsters in my opinion.
Yeah, he is actually.
And moving on to Andrew's number what choice?
5. Corey, since you seem to know a bit about him, about this monster, you should know about him as well. Gamora from Ultraman. But like as far as Ultraman goes, like Ultraman's design for monsters is kind of third rate because they're so like
old school.
No, actually they're newer actually than well, no, not newer. They got they're just last on the totem pole when it comes to finance in Japan for monster movies. Godzilla got number 1, Gamera got 2nd, and then Ultraman got 3rd. So it still has a
Or like Andrew, 1 psychic powers would not surprise me.
That's how he does his hair every morning. He told me one day. He just wakes
I
up
just don't
and-
need to do it because it's just so perfect.
It's true.
Jealousy
Jealousy leads to the dark side.
I embrace the dark side.
The dark side's what gives him his hair powers.
But yeah, Gamora is also one of the only Ultraman monsters that showed up that actually lasted more than 1 episode. And it actually almost killed Ultraman.
Damn.
He's durable as hell.
He is an armadillo, right?
No, actually, I don't really know what he is.
Can he curl into a ball? Because then he's an armadillo.
No, he can't turn into a ball.
Oh, okay.
But he can burrow.
Oh, all right. Armadillos burrow.
Breaking out the third rate.
Oh, damn.
I did not call him third rate. I just said third in line when it comes to finance and effects.
We're calling him the B monster. Which makes him second rate. As opposed to a C monster.
But he's on the list because I really do enjoy his design. It seems kind of simple. He just got like a really spiky chest. He's got a hook on the back of his elbows, and then the horn on his head, and then like the crescent moon, I guess, just skull.
Mm-hmm.
But he's durable as hell. Like Ultraman's got moves and attacks that you don't normally can take down a monster in like 1 shot if he can get a good shot off. Gamora took him head on, point blank, shrugs him off like nothing, and then just proceeds to beat Ultraman's ass.
Nice.
The only thing that Ultraman was able to get an edge up on him finally was when he finally blew off his tail. But then even after all that, Gamora's gotten so popular that in these new Ultraman series that they're doing, Gamora's a good guy now.
Huh.
And he's used to help fight and defend the world against the evil monsters that show up.
Ass kicking equals justice. He got his ass beat 1 too many times, and now he's good.
Well, he only ever fought Ultraman in the original just that one time over that 2-episode span. But apparently Gamora's fame got so good because of the only monster that could actually stand up to him and durability and everything that he just kept getting more and more appreciated the more the Ultraman series went on. Mm-hmm. There's even later on stuff where they fight alongside each other.
Nice.
And even still, Ultraman still kind of gets his ass kicked. Gamora is just so powerful. And only in the later stuff they actually give him a weapon. Like he can fire some kind of beam from his horn on his nose.
Cool.
But yeah, there's not so much I would not mind seeing him in a crossover with Godzilla or something, or even just better graphics. Because honestly, they're still making a version of Ultraman like just last year, and it's still Suitmation. I don't have a problem with that. Suitmation is really cool. Just I wish they would just update it a little bit more than they have.
Yeah, Ultraman doesn't seem to get the AAA treatment.
No, it really doesn't. Like, I'm not even complaining about all that stuff because Ultraman, I do enjoy Ultraman. It's just he doesn't get movies.
Yet.
I don't think he ever will. He only gets TV series, which is still fine. He still gets his popularity out there. It's just not as good as Gamera or Godzilla. Those two ruled everything.
If he gets a movie, he needs a redesign because he looks kind of silly.
He does. But that would also mean good animation, good choreography, everything, which would only improve Ultraman's recognition.
That's true. It's true.
And I would hope that if they did, Gamora would be the monster they would face him up against. Because I would love to see that thing modernized, CG'd. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's about all I got for Gamora.
Yeah. I think they could easily update him. They made a new Power Rangers movie and gave the Power Rangers updated designs even though everyone hated it. So, it could happen.
I just hope it doesn't go that route.
Yeah.
They update it and it actually turns out good.
Yeah, indeed. But on to my next one, which is my number 4. 4. Is actually going to be Mega Rayquaza. So we're going back to Saturday morning children's cartoons one more time. But this is my Pokemon pick. Andrew already had his Pokemon pick.
Actually, I think I have one more now that I think about it.
Whoa!
Yeah, yours is
Look
fanciness.
at this!
Yours is
Look at
fanciness.
Oh, wrong side. Oh, this is Rayquaza.
Mega Rayquaza.
Man, we should make all of our pictures like this. This looks cool.
I don't know how yours did that, but
It's a PNG file.
PNG file. We'll do more PNG pictures at some point because this is great. You can see us and the picture. But in addition to being the next on the block of Saturday morning cartoon monsters. It's also our second Eastern style dragon.
Yeah.
And I just think it's one of the best Eastern style dragons ever. It doesn't have the Western aspect that Rayquaza had going for it, but I also just, once again, going back to color palette, green and orange, fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's got this, like, I think it's got, like, the perfect level of complexity without being overbearing. Like, he's got all these lights on him and the circles all over his body and the whatever the hell that is off the side of his face, the face fins.
He also has the symbol for Omega on his forehead.
Yeah, but he doesn't look overbearing. It looks just like a cooler Rayquaza. Like, a lot of the Mega Pokemon just look more breaking out the technique. That looks awesome. But yeah, we should keep this on here the rest of the video. No more pictures. But yeah, he's just like a really great extension of the. I should have got an original Rayquaza picture too for comparison's sake. But he's just a great expansion of the design without undoing what made the original design cool. Because some people don't like certain Mega Evolutions because they take away.
Yeah, and they change them up way too much and make them look absolutely useless or something like that. But Mega Rayquaza, they just made it. They made it so much better. Because it's like Rayquaza already was one of the most badass looking ones there was. Mm-hmm. And then the Mega just made him way more. And
it's also of note that Mega Rayquaza, this isn't really related to design or anything, but it is the premier most OP Pokemon ever.
It's banned in tournaments.
From a canological perspective, the most powerful Pokemon is Arceus because he's Pokemon God. But from a stats and competitive standpoint, Mega Rayquaza is banned from pretty much every tournament. His stats are off the chart. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because Rayquaza is in a triad in Pokemon with Groudon, Kyogre, and him.
The Weather Trio.
Yeah, the Weather Trio. But unlike Groudon and Kyogre...
You keep saying Groudon, it's Groudon.
Groudon and Kyogre. Rayquaza gets a Mega Evolution, whereas the other two get Primal Evolutions where they go back in time.
So, they revert to their primal prehistoric forms.
Yeah, so that's kind of separates them out of the mold for some reason. I don't know why they went that route.
Because Rayquaza's not one of a kind like Groudon and Kyogre.
Okay, even though he's better.
Yes. Well, he's the balancer. He comes down to stop them because Groudon and Kyogre are the embodiments of land and sea. And when they meet, they fight where they can end the world.
And if I'm not mistaken, does Mega Rayquaza grant him Dragon Ascension, or can he use that as Rayquaza normally?
He can use that normally.
I think when he uses Dragon Ascension as Mega Rayquaza, it wrecks everything, though. Like, it gets boosted beyond.
But he can only... Like, I think that they've actually said that he has to know Dragon Ascent to be able to Mega Evolve.
Oh,
and he's the only Pokemon that can learn Dragon Ascent.
Yeah, so Rayquaza is just a badass. He deserves to be on the list for being OP.
Yes,
cool
he does.
And being a very, very awesomely designed Eastern-style dragon.
He really is, and he's definitely intimidating in a battle.
Mm-hmm. I would ride that thing into battle all day, every day.
He fully actually... Some of the anime that have done work with him, he actually is kaiju size. He is, like, it shows... I mean, I know it's the kid, but riding on his head, it looks like a little speck on his head. And Mega Rayquaza is already pretty big. Mega Rayquaza is immensely powerful and huge.
Even though on the screen he's, wait for it, hands, I can't do it.
You want me to put him back up bigger?
No.
He's smaller now.
He's big though. But anyway, it's to Andrew now. We'll get rid of our awesome PNG picture for a normal picture.
My number 4 one is probably from one that a lot of people might remember, but maybe not so much, but it's the Hydra from the animated Hercules movie.
He's so iconic. My childhood.
It really is, and unlike most of the other movies that involve the Hydra, they decided to actually go and make that one actually a kaiju-sized right from the get-go. But...
Can it talk?
No, it can't talk.
I couldn't remember if it talked. It looks like it should talk.
No, it just was menacing.
Yeah.
But it definitely, like, as you can see from the center head... It can smile, and its smile is terrifying.
Its smile just looks like I'm gonna tell you a joke and then eat you.
Pretty much. But I love the way they did, like, when Hercules would sever its head, like, it would spew, like, liquid gore and everything around, and then it would, like, little, like a moth coming out of a cocoon or something, just muck come up from the head and then just sprout off into new heads.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best... Hydra designs, like most unique Hydra designs I've seen.
Yeah, because
sure.
typically the Hydra is depicted as just a giant snake. That thing actually has front legs to run.
Yeah, and it's just like the head design's really like out there. It looks more humanoid than most Hydras.
Yeah, and just not so much to say about it because it didn't get very much of a screen time, but what it did get was enough to kind of change the shift of the whole movie. And the fact that it was a nighttime fight scene in the middle of the rain and everything else, it set up to be really good. And the animation was not the same either.
It wasn't?
No, everything else, Hercules and everything, was the typical animated. That thing, the Hydra was actually CG'd.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause I can kind of see that based on the picture, actually. It's been a while since I've watched Hercules, but...
Yeah. Like, just about a week ago, I got I don't know why, I was just looking up pictures of the Hydra, came across that, I was like, you know what, I want to watch that scene again.
And you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
90 CG.
Yeah, but it's really good, really impressive. I like its roar. Its roar is really interesting, too.
It's been so long. What's it sound like? Can you describe it?
Kind of like a
10 words or less.
low bellow scream type sound to it.
That's cool.
But it really was interesting, and especially when it like died, like when its heads kept getting cut off, when it would sprout, like when it first sprouted those two new heads, each head would look at each other, smile, then look back at him. It's like, yeah, you knew you fucked up.
I can't wait. I can't remember. Did Hercules just kill it just by cutting off so many heads and it eventually died?
You can't kill a Hydra by cutting off heads.
That's what I thought, but that's why I didn't remember how he killed it. How to kill it?
He killed it because, well, he was cutting off the heads until it had probably over 200 heads.
Oh.
And then he just literally just dropped a mountain on it.
Oh, okay.
Smashed a mountain when it had him pinned against it, and he buried it alive.
I would drop it in acid because I don't think a mountain would stop it.
Depends
on how big the mountain.
Well, it also depends on what version of the Hydra you talk about. Some versions of it, the Hydra can spew acid. Kind of like a xenomorph.
Beautiful.
But yeah, that's my pick for that, because the Hydra is just very interesting, just as in general creature.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's just a good example of one.
Yeah,
kind of like how we were talking about Eastern dragons being cool in general, but here's two cool Eastern dragons.
Yeah, pretty much. And the Hydra actually in that one almost looks like a mix of an Eastern-Western type dragon without the wings.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
just fatter.
Actually, it's pretty lean. It's just that angle of it like a snake just rearing up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I got for the Hydra.
Good pick. Good pick. So yeah. For my number 3, I actually switched around my 4 and 3 before I had this higher, but I changed my decision, and it's the Devil Joe from the Monster Hunter franchise, which is a fantastic video game franchise. I love it. We'll have 2 pictures of it up here. Maybe one after the other. I don't know. But anyway, what's awesome about the Devil Joe? There's a few really great things. Oh, it's another. Yes! My picks are better than Andrew's pictures. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. Andrew Moore, you couldn't do any more to make me happy. But they're so beautiful. I don't even want to talk about them. I just want to look at them. Look at them. Okay, anyway. So, the Devil Joe on the right, I believe would be your right, of the screen is the basic Devil Joe without the red. It's a damn Tyrannosaurus Rex crocodile with spikes and a saw for a tail. Like a serrated tail saw of doom.
Does it use its tail like a saw?
Yeah. And
I just thought it bludgeoned you with it.
I think the blades on it can actually, like, rotate. And then when you... in Monster Hunter, the video game franchise, the concept is basically you want to kill some monsters to make some hats and some weapons to kill bigger monsters, and you just keep that up. When you get Devil Joe equipment, it's saws and blades and everything. Your armor's just covered in spikes. But what's really cool about Devil Joe is just it's kind of an aspect of Monster Hunter in general. It's just it moves the way it moves and carries itself, and it acts like you would think a real Tyrannosaurus Rex would. It's just like I guess it's hard to describe, but
it lumbers.
It lumbers when it walks, and then it also has a tendency to eat everything. Like most monsters in Monster Hunter will kind of, like, if they get in the same vicinity of one another, like bite at each other or attack each other just to kind of fend off their territory while wanting to get you, the player, to themselves to eat. For some reason, giant monsters want to eat humans, even though they could probably eat anything else.
Yeah,
that's just how it works. But the Devil Joe doesn't give a shit. It eats other big monsters that are around its size. It will kill them for you and then eat them. If they're dead already, you will find them eating their corpses. If you cut off the Devil Joe's tail, it'll turn around and eat its own tail because it doesn't give a shit. It's like a honey badger as a giant crocodile dinosaur.
It don't give a shit.
It doesn't give a shit. And then once it gets angry, it'll
Angrier.
change to the red Devil Joe, which you can see there, where its chest bellows out. It gets like a heat kind of thing going on, like a freaking Titan. It steams.
Looks like it's got like quilled hairs on its
and
back,
glowing veins.
Yeah,
and the thing is fast and ferocious and will not stop attacking until it's tired out, and then it'll leave and you have to go find it. But generally, like, that thing is just terrifying. And
at least from those pictures wise, honestly, the original one looks more intimidating.
It might look more intimidating, but once you're fighting it it turns red and it starts going twice as fast as usual.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, like, at least in terms of the pictures, the original one looks more intimidating from the angle, the drool, and all that kind of stuff. It looks more intimidating.
It is a better picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's mostly like, if you've played the Monster Hunter games, you know why Devil Joe's so terrifying. But the design itself is great too.
Oh yeah, either one, the design is fantastic.
Yeah, and they're iconic. They're in like every Monster Hunter game pretty much ever. And what's also kind of interesting about Devil Joe is in Monster Hunter, it's like a mission-based structure. Like, you'll say, the mission will be like, go hunt the Rathian, which is this giant dragon. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And usually it sticks to the mission, but when you're in high rank missions, every single mission, even the non-combat ones, has a chance of Devil Joe showing up with unannounced to just kill you.
So it's like being out there, just like, okay, let's get this mission done fast. The mission, with a chance of running into a Devil Joe.
Yeah, the mission is pick 20 mushrooms, Devil Joe. So they're funny. They just cause panic whenever they show up. So
I bet.
Yeah, Devil Joe's great. So there's my number 3 pick. So on to Andrew.
My number 3 pick is another Pokemon.
Back to Pokemon.
It's I can't remember which generation it's from, but it's Garchomp.
Oh, Garchomp.
Yeah.
Garchomp's great.
It is.
He's a land shark.
A land freaking shark, but he's also a dragon.
Yes.
And I love the design of it because, I mean, just the land shark look is...
Yeah. We got one.
I got one there. Hell yeah. I was like, yeah, that design is just really interesting of a design. The sickle hands actually remind me of another Godzilla monster anyway, Gigan, because it has the giant sickle claws. He has a long tail with barbs on its tail, and he has giant fins running down his back. So Gigan is basically interpreted as Garchomp.
I can actually see that. I know what Gigan looks like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like less alien and more dragon.
Yeah. And then just like they're not very big, but they are quite powerful. And then as the other picture on here can show, somebody did a fan arted thing of it where they actually went ahead and made Garchomp into a kaiju. And just proves my point of what it could look like if it actually became a true on kaiju. It's like, that is terrifying as hell.
That's some quality artwork.
It is.
Quality fan art.
I found some stuff with other Pokemon that were made into kaijus, but Garchomp's just looked the most authentic kaiju design-wise. Mm-hmm. And that's not even taken away from the original. Like, either one of them looks absolutely amazing. And a lot of people always complain about the stuff. Garchomp can fly, too.
It doesn't look like he would, to be honest.
I know, it doesn't look like he could, but he actually can fly. And people always are bitching about that.
He's a shark.
He's a land shark who's also a sky shark.
He's a ground and dragon typing.
But somehow he can fly.
I
mean, I understand the misconception. He's a ground type. He shouldn't actually fly, but he just does because reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the design. Like, currently playing in one of my games right now, I actually have a Garchomp.
Nice.
And
what's its name? You name all your Pokemon, right?
Gigan.
Of course.
I gotta emphasize up on my Godzilla Pokemon comparison thing, so I gotta get some high-leveled ones. But yeah, Garchomp is, in my opinion, he's one of the cooler-looking dragons that we have. Mm-hmm. There are some that are better, but
Charizard.
yeah. As far as just like a complete original, unique design look, I think Garchomp kind of sells that design, and like you were saying with the color contrast.
Yeah, I like the orange and yellow. Lots of good orange colors today.
Yeah, it's just like it fits in good with the black blue body, and then having just like the bright shiny chest.
And I like how they carry the yellow onto his face.
Yeah, just like a central horn type thing.
Yeah.
Which honestly, looking at now, the kaiju looking one of it kind of reminds me of Knifehead from Pacific Rim.
I don't remember Knifehead from Pacific Rim. I'm sorry.
The very first kaiju that they fought.
Been a while since I watched Pacific Rim.
The thing with the giant knife horn for a head.
I guess that would make sense as Knifehead, yes.
Okay, well that's what I got for my number 3, but I still really do enjoy Garchomp.
Yeah, bitchin'. Third Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I had Ultra Necrozma and Garchomp, and you had Rayquaza.
Yeah, all the Pokemon love today. All right, so my number 2 then, all right? Oh man, we already getting down low.
Yeah.
All right,
Time's going by too.
Yeah, right. So my number 2 is Hakumen no Mono, which I have 3 pictures of. I'm sorry, everyone. He is the final villain of the anime/manga series Ushio and Tora. He's gorgeous. He's a beautiful, majestic creature. And he is just terrifying. I don't really get like freaked out by monsters too much, but he had this intimidating aura that left a huge impression on me. He's a manipulative, callous, intelligent mastermind monster, and he basically causes all the shit that goes wrong in the series, like human possession all over the place, just curses and plagues and every bad thing you can possibly imagine. He's driven completely by nothing other than his hatred and disdain for everything that's living that isn't him. He's so evil that humans and demons both fear him to the extent that they want him dead. And he is the king of demons.
Is he immortal?
He was basically, they had him chained to the bottom of Japan.
Wicked.
Yeah, they had him chained to the bottom of Japan, and his body weight is the only thing that keeps Japan afloat. Like,
oh, damn!
It is on him. But yeah, so Hakumen no Mono is a fucking awesome creature. He's got this like super high pitched like kind of voice,
like a raspy type voice,
raspy freaky voice. I brought a manga versus anime comparison because those are, I think, from similar scenes, but I think the anime and manga difference is pretty substantial. Like, he got really long giant teeth in the manga, and his eye proportions to his head are like
insane,
quite different. And he's got this like crystal eye. Like, he has a normal red eye, and then like it breaks and shatters, and it has like this crystal kaleidoscope look to it. And like every person who gets possessed by Hakumen no Mono gets these crystal ball eyes, because you know Sableye?
Yeah,
their eyes kind of turn to like Sableye eyes but red.
Oh damn.
And then
well,
like,
Sableye's eyes are red.
Yeah, and then like, oh dude, he's got like, one thing I like in kaiju sized monsters is the ability to kind of spread versions of themselves out. Like, he can create familiars out of his body. There's these small eyeballs appear all over him, and they come out as like little fucking sperm cells. But they fly out, and then they just kill people, eat them, possess them. And he's chained to Japan, so he can't move, but he sends them out in waves and just decimates entire cities.
Damn.
And so he spreads his evil and despair to get himself stronger, so he can break free.
Wow.
Yeah, and then also what's also cool about him is he's also portrayed as like a force of nature. Like, once he does like kind of get free, you just see, because he's abstract. Like, when he's in the sky, you just see clouds like morph into his face, and then like the air just kind of like takes the form of his body. So he can be non-physical, he can be non-corporeal, he can just kind of exist everywhere and nowhere at the same time. He's got all these wicked powers, and each of his tails is a different monster. One of his tails can turn into a Leviathan, which is this giant sea dragon monster.
I think most people know what Leviathan is.
One of them turns into a...
I didn't know what it was.
Oh, shut up. Yes, you did.
One of them turns into a giant centipede that has like scythes for arms, and they can separate from his body. His tails can, and go out and like cause havoc and then reattach. And
how many tails does he have?
9.
9 tails?
Yeah, he's a 9 tails.
Nice.
But yeah, so he is a great final villain.
I'd say so.
I can't really say enough, but like based on pure bias, he might have been my number one pick, but I just couldn't pass up the real number one pick just because of reasons that we'll obviously get to. But I think Hakumen no Mono is just wicked, as Jennifer says. So yes, that was my number 2 pick, and I will stop ranting about how great he is.
All right, my number 2 pick is the king of kaiju himself.
Godzilla!
Yes, and I know probably Corey's going to jump on there and just be like, what the hell, why is he number 2? It's like, you'll find out. But not really a surprise, though, and the picture I chose is the original king himself. The original 1954. But, I mean, aside from just the original nostalgic look, Godzilla himself has been one of probably very few monsters in the world that's even still being remembered to this day. Even people even remember all of his old films. Like, even if, like, what's the earliest one you can think of? People will be like, well, there's this one that was like, I guess maybe, what, a black and white one? It's like the original. Like, everybody has at least seen the original. Mm-hmm. And granted, I still love, I think I may have already mentioned this stuff, but he was never intended to be as popular as he got.
Just kind of supposed to be like a representation of war.
A representation of what, if we kept using nuclear warfare, what would happen to the world. Obviously not a giant monster, but the outbreak, the plague of us destroying each other, going back and forth between all that stuff, and how it would eventually destroy the world. Mm-hmm. And it was just happened to be in the form of a giant monster. Puppets beat CGI every time. Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, back then, Suitmation was fairly new. It was because originally Godzilla was supposed to be claymation, just like some old Ray Harryhausen movies with the clay sculptures and stuff. Godzilla, I think, was one of the very first Suitmation monsters.
Nice.
And it worked out so well. People actually in the theaters, they actually thought that he was actually stomping through Tokyo, because he actually, in the movie, he passes the exact same movie theater that people were watching his movie in.
Basically, Japan had the World of the Wars radio freak out, but it was Godzilla.
And actually, in the beginning, Godzilla was... people actually were thinking that Japan was going to, like, rebel and everything, because Godzilla was not well received at all. Because it's based off of World War II, with everything happening, and it was like, okay, people are thinking you're making fun of World War II with that bomb being dropped on us so soon after it happened. So nobody was very favorable of Godzilla at the time.
But they got over it.
I think they started to see, like, he started to get popular, and it's like, okay, this is interesting. So then they made a sequel, which was still dark and terrifying, and then they're like, okay, let's see what we can keep doing with this. The very first colored version fight was him and King Kong, which... people still... the controversy of that fight.
It lived on and made him even more popular.
It did live on, and it also brought back Kong's popularity, too.
Yeah.
But...
who won that fight?
Unfortunately...
Lightning punch!
Unfortunately, they kind of make it seem like that... in the movie, they make it seem like that Kong won. But in the...
he was bigger at the time, right?
No, Godzilla was actually... Actually, they were still about the same size.
Huh. Did America make it?
No, Japan made it.
Japanese.
But I don't know the whole gist of why it went like that, but they kind of made it seem like that Godzilla didn't so much lose as in death losing, as in he just kind of maybe either got knocked out or they fell in the water and he just kind of was like, all right, you know what? I'm just sick of this. So he just kind of swam away. Because, like, I think in one of the next films, he comes back out of the ocean and there's like, it ain't been so long since we've seen him last. But he's been so well popular since the 50s up to 2019, and he's still popular.
Strong.
He's still going strong. It's
still
like
the most recognizable monster out there.
Yes, like even if people don't like monsters or anything, they'll be like, okay, what's the most recognizable monster? Like, I don't know, that giant lizard. It's like, even if they don't know his name, they know what he is.
Godzilla.
And I don't see his popularity or his fame stopping anytime soon.
Nope.
I hope not, anyway, because he deserves to be around for a lot longer. He's already over 60 years old. That is insanely long for a movie monster.
And guess what? We don't even have to take down the picture.
Oh yeah, you're going.
Because my number 1 is Godzilla.
Well, are you gonna do your honorable mention first?
No.
Okay. All right.
Because I already said Godzilla. I'll get the honorable mention.
Okay.
We're screwing the order.
All right then, go for it.
Well, we can keep talking. I'm just saying it's the same one, so.
I already covered a lot of it, so I'm gonna leave you something to talk about for him.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just talk more about his design then, because I think he's got a really iconic design. You know, he's very balanced. He's nice and symmetrical.
It depends.
Usually, unless it's Shin Godzilla.
Actually, I wasn't even talking about Shin. There's a few of the others where he's had kind of weirdly proportioned bodies.
What?
Yeah.
Plot twist.
There's like most of them are from the Heisei series, which is from the 80s to the end of the 90s. Mm-hmm. But like some of them he'll have like this typical head, kind of shorter head, a bulky neck, and he'll have a huge broad chest.
Still symmetrical. That the kid would still approve.
Well,
as long as he's half and half is all accurate, then he's still symmetrical, even if he's weirdly proportioned.
Well, he wouldn't be perfectly symmetrical. Teeth are jagged on different sides. Spines don't always match up.
Yeah, but also like I think he's just a good example of like
Mothra shakes his fist. Mothra is a girl, by the way.
I think he's just a good example, like just of how the monster genre has kind of like gone too. Like you can just look at the history of Godzilla's appearance and everything. It's just the history of how the monster genre has evolved, the kaiju genre has evolved as a whole. Yeah. So it's just kind of like so iconic that he can represent the whole genre of kaiju just by looking at his appearance and how they've changed and how the techniques have changed going,
Yeah, he's pretty much the originator of a lot of the whole kaiju monster genre. Like there were some others, but they kind of failed. Mm-hmm. Godzilla's the first one that came, did well, continued on, and brought new ones to the scene. So Godzilla's kind of the originator of kaiju.
Yeah, and they, all the techniques that were perfected throughout the years were probably first tested on Godzilla. From costumes to whatever, like kind of, like not toys, but like
memorabilia type stuff.
Yeah, just from like every angle. Like it's hard for me to not pick Godzilla as number 1 just because he's so well known and so popular, and for good reason.
Yeah. They they were also able to play around with Godzilla a bit because like
a lot of leeway because he was already so popular, no one was gonna drop it if he had one bad movie.
Right, which he's actually had a few.
Yeah,
but he's done crazy things in the movies that most people would be
the tail kick,
the gravity-defying drop kick.
But I do think too that another thing that's kind of nice about Godzilla's design is that even though that looks stupid, to be completely honest, they still have him designed in a way to where he can still do humanoid things without it looking awkward most of the time. Yep. Like he can throw people, grapple them with his tail, block or move around in ways that a dinosaur or lizard or reptile shouldn't be able to do. But since his proportions are how they are, it still doesn't look too awkward unless he slides on his tail and drop kicks someone.
He also is actually considerably good at hand-to-hand combat.
Does Mothra even have a fist, bro?
She has hands. She has typical moth type pincer-like hands.
I guess that's her number 1, probably.
That's fair.
She's been here the whole time.
Oh. Is Mothra your favorite?
Yeah, who is your favorite? If everyone else wants to chime in too, you should all tell us what your favorite giant monster is.
Yeah, cause we can interpret in.
Yeah, we can give our inputs on your inputs.
And I'm not dissing her at all. I like Mothra very much as well, considering she is probably one of the most iconic monsters next to Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
And despite the fact that she is literally just a moth, which she's never gotten anything other than that. She is a moth.
She's the big good.
She is. She is never depicted as evil.
Yeah.
Mothra is always considered the guardian and the protector of the world.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever. And she is ungodly powerful, actually. She's able to actually lift and throw Godzilla.
Does she like lights?
As she should.
Not typically.
Really?
New memes?
Yes, I know. The moth memes. They're funny. But no, she actually can shoot kind of rainbow-esque type lightning bolts out of her antennae and sometimes her eyes. And she can fly her scales at people for like a last-ditch effort.
Oh, and since I ruined the order, I'll just go ahead and say my honorable mention before you get to your number 1.
That's fine.
Since your number 1's so cool. Your number 1's pretty great. It's pretty interesting, even though I haven't actually seen too much of it.
Yep.
I'll just go ahead and say Ghidorah. Just the big golden
Yeah, we each
dragon
have an
from
honorable
Godzilla.
mention, and he chose King Ghidorah.
Yes, because although I like King Ghidorah a lot, and he's also ridiculously iconic, I just like the no arms thing kind of throws me off sometimes from a design perspective. I'm always just kind of like I always picture Ghidorah with arms, and then I realize he doesn't have them, and it always like upsets me greatly.
But
There
he's
he is.
still he is. It actually has been confirmed by Toho and other studios. Ghidorah is truly the second king of the monsters.
Oh yeah, and he's even more powerful than Godzilla in a lot of the ways.
Oh yeah.
Godzilla's fantastic. I was making the point that everyone remembers Big G, but no one thinks of the vanquished foes.
See, I'm not dissing that. Mothra actually is one of the few monsters that can get vanquished, but she always comes back.
The reoccurring monsters.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I agree. Godzilla does get all the fame, even though the other monsters contribute a lot in his movies.
Yeah. Well, considering that
But they are Godzilla movies.
Yeah, they're side characters in his film, so
true.
he has to get more of the screen time. But that doesn't mean that they haven't become memorable.
Yeah.
Like King Ghidorah, he is. There's been monsters, plenty of them that have been considered Godzilla's rivals. Ghidorah is his death nemesis. Considering that Ghidorah's very purpose and presence is that he is a destroyer and eater of worlds.
Yeah.
He actually is. Maybe not so much King Ghidorah, but one of his variants is actually responsible for turning Mars into the barren wasteland it is.
Like a badass.
Well, it was actually Des Ghidorah, which is a four-legged version of King Ghidorah, but it was able to siphon all the energy, life, and everything from Mars. So Mars actually was inhabitable until a subspecies of Ghidorah found it. And yes, subspecies. Ghidorah is still the top ranking.
As he should be.
He is.
But outside the lack of arms thing, I think Ghidorah's design is pretty great. Like, once again, another kind of Hydra. But I like the golden look, and once again, color scheme-wise, pretty
Yeah.
pleasing to the eyes.
Well, yeah. Originally, also, maybe not a lot of people know, Ghidorah's wings were actually supposed to be rainbowed.
That would have been even better. What's wrong with them?
It wouldn't have looked very well anyway. Like a solid gold dragon with like bright, vivid rainbow wings.
Maybe they should have just made it to where, like, when he flew, he left a rainbow trail.
That would not have been good at all. That would not have been good at all.
Rainbows! Rainbow 6, Ghidorah.
But yeah, Ghidorah always is going to be the most memorable foe for Godzilla, and we get to see how well he's going to do in Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters in 2019, because Ghidorah is in it as well, along
And
with
the
Rodan
controversial
and Mothra.
design.
Actually, a lot of people are saying now the design is back to being normal.
I thought you were saying Ghidorah had the portal design.
That's the anime Ghidorah.
I'm
I'm talking about the actual movie one of it, the sequel to 2014.
Okay. Yeah, people are freaking about the new anime design of King
Yeah.
Ghidorah, because it's like basically Golden Shinron times 3 coming out of portals.
He's like an ethereal form. He has no body. He's just heads and neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm dying to see how they make Ghidorah look in the 2019 movie, because I don't even know if he's going to be quadrupedal or bipedal or be like Smog, like where his wings are attached to his hands and he can walk on all fours.
That'd be cool.
The 4 version one I would actually like to see, like him stand up and just spread his wings with his arms. That would be immensely powerful too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's your honorable mention, Ghidorah?
Yeah. Are you going to do your number 1 and then your honorable mention, or are you going to rock your honorable mentions first?
I'll do my honorable mentions.
Okay.
My
We
honorable
got a few.
Yeah, I got a few. They are all Godzilla monsters, but they are lesser known ones, but still interesting in the designs. First up is, you'll be happy to know, Mothra, which I guess we already covered a bit about her. So
Yeah, we kind of already got her down.
Yeah, but just, I mean, yeah, color scheme wise and everything, Mothra is quite beautiful.
She's so pretty.
Her design changes a little bit. That's the 2004 Godzilla Final Wars version of her.
Mm-hmm.
But she does always die whenever she shows up in a fight, but she usually always goes out with a purpose. In the 2004 Final Wars one, she actually kamikazes and takes out an opponent. She kills Gigan.
It's pretty metal.
Well, technically, Gigan killed himself. He has, like, razor discs in his chest. He fired them out. She dodged them, and they boomerang back. He blew her up with his optical beam, and when he was turning around gloating, the disc came back and cut his own head off.
And then his son ran in, started crying, and blamed Mothra for the death.
No.
And then Spider-Man came in and explained that it was his fault, even though the dad killed himself.
No.
Wasn't that stupid? Why did you just tell him, I jumped, the glider came back and stabbed him in the chest. It was an accident. Why you gotta blame yourself, Spider-Man? God, that scene pisses me off.
But then he's talking about the first Spider-Man movie with how Green Goblin killed himself with
Green
the
Goblin,
glider.
like he tells Spider-Man, like Henry blames Spider-Man for killing Green Goblin, and then instead of telling him, well, actually, I dodged the blade and jumped out of the way, and he stabbed himself, he says, you're right, Henry, I killed your dad. And then he's like, I hate you, Spider-Man!
He was trying to protect his dad from not making him seem like that he was purely evil.
The joke was the fact that she made him kill himself, and that, yeah.
But that's still...
Okay, we got it.
Well, it's still just as good, too, because while it's still interesting, because Geigen actually was pretty casual about it, too. The disc came back, sliced through his head, and then he's just like, wait, what the hell just happened? He turns around, and he has, instead of his sickle claws, they modified him where he had chainsaws for his hands.
Bitchin'.
And he started them up, was getting ready to attack, and then his head just falls down. He's still walking with no head. And then Mothra, she's on fire, kamikazes, blows up herself and Gigan's body.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, she might be...
Ham.
Yeah, Mothra is a beast. Next one is... you're going to all get what these are, but yeah, Kamakuris. If you haven't noticed the trend yet, I'll just go ahead and tell you, they're all of the insects in Godzilla. And Kamakuris, fairly simple, he's just a giant dragonfly. Or not a dragonfly, a praying mantis.
Yeah.
That'd be frightening.
Did you know praying mantis can eat hummingbirds?
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
And
they've done it. I've seen videos.
in Kamakuris' first appearance, which is in Son of Godzilla, there was 4 of them. And they all tried to eat Godzilla Jr.
It was a head.
Huh?
It was a head.
No, they actually tried to eat him, but they were being actually full-on bullies about it, too. They were torturing him. Like, they were just smacking him back and forth and, like, picking him up and dropping him. They were being sadistic and evil.
They had Japanese school bully syndrome.
And then the way it goes, Godzilla kills 3 of them, and then Kamakuris somehow survives, shows up again in Final Wars, only to be... He had probably the most poignant death of any creature in that movie.
Really?
He flew at Godzilla. Godzilla just literally took the impact, grabbed him by the spike on his back and one of his arms, spun him around, flew him, and he got impaled on a telephone pole. Or one of those giant, like, receiver dish type towers. Right through the abdomen, and he was still alive. Godzilla just walks away and just lets him slowly die. It's like, well, okay then. But he was just so poignant. He's just like, and he just
slides down slowly.
No, he wasn't moving. He was skewered, like straight from the back too. But yeah, Kamakuris didn't go out very good.
That sounds pretty whack. I like it.
The other one is actually Mothra's evil twin.
Mothra has an evil twin?
Batra.
Oh. Oh yeah.
He is no friend of humanity. He absolutely despises humanity more than probably any other monster ever has.
Dang.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because both him and Mothra have larval forms. Mothra's larval form is very, very tiny, very weak, and not able to do anything except spit silk. Batra's larval form, just in larva form, is as big as Godzilla and just as powerful. But then when he transforms, he's smaller, about the same size as Mothra, and considerably weaker.
He needs to just stay in larval form then.
He kind of does, but really he wasn't intending to fight Godzilla. He was after Mothra.
Huh.
And she'd already transformed. So he kind of had to transform to fight her.
I would have just stayed in larval form and been like, come at me.
But once they realize, okay, Godzilla's kicking both of our asses, they decide to work together and carry him out to sea to try to seal him away. Batra makes a very bad decision on where to grab him.
The mouth.
He got right on the chest and was in perfect mouth distance for Godzilla to bite the throat. No, he didn't actually. He actually didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
He went full on. I'm just gonna rip your throat out. But yeah, so Batra died. Godzilla fell. While both Batra and Mothra were carrying Godzilla, Mothra actually had the easy, and she had the tail. which still was not very easy considering it was thrashing around. But yeah, when Batra died, Mothra just let go. Because, like, okay, I can't hold both of these things.
Mhm.
And so Batra died, but she did end up sealing Godzilla away. Not for very long, but it did seal him. The other one is Kamanga.
Kamanga.
Yes, a giant spider.
Also known as Goma, if you're a Legend of Zelda fan.
He's probably one of the weakest monsters there is.
He looks like he could get stepped on.
He's actually quite large. The Final Wars version of him, they actually shrunk him down a little bit. But in his original appearance, he was he actually could have grabbed all the way around Godzilla.
But then Godzilla would have had to, like, fart, and he would have died.
Actually, Kamanga's pretty strong. He actually can take Godzilla's beam pretty close to point blank. It knocks him out temporarily, but he can get back up like in about a minute. But in that version, they kind of made him a mix of a jumping spider too.
He looks like a straight up generic spider. The design's pretty basic.
Yeah, most of the insects in Godzilla's franchise, they're basically generic. Mothra's a moth, Kamacuras is a praying mantis.
At least Mothra has distinctive patterns and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, Kamanga is pretty weak, but I love in Final Wars how the Godzilla kills him. It was quite hilarious.
What do you do?
He could all he can do is spit like webbing. He shot it straight at Godzilla. He caught it, and Kamanga couldn't like let go of it for some reason. He just picks him up, starts swinging him around, and then lets him go, and he flies like 400 miles until he splats on the ground.
I love it.
It's like, that was just absolutely beautiful.
Team Kamanga's blasting off again!
Pretty much. And then the final insect is one that actually has the greatest design of all, Megaguirus.
Oh, yeah.
She is a dragonfly, scorpion, praying mantis type mix of a creature.
That is pretty cool.
She is millennia old. She's almost as old as Godzilla.
Does she make an appearance in a lot of the movies?
She's only made an appearance in one.
Ah, sad story.
Because that was in the Millennium Saga when it first started, Shelob for Kamanga.
Shelob.
Sadly, Shelob is actually more threatening and more intimidating than Kamanga. But Megaguirus, honestly, is very interesting. I love her design. Her roar, my God, that is ear piercing. It's so high pitched that it almost hurts listening to it. But her wings, she can flap at supersonic, which can almost act like an EMP, shut down anything electronic around her.
Nice.
And obviously her stinger. You guys stay up too late. I got what I really enjoy. Oh, sorry.
No problem. It's all good.
Yeah, we ran a little bit long.
Yeah, it's true.
Next time we'll have the pictures earlier.
Yeah, next time we'll have the little. We were a little late getting the pictures to our guys, so
yeah. So it's all good.
But yeah,
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. She is able to. She has a stinger on the end of her tail, which she can use to. She actually does where she'll stab Godzilla in the gut, and was able to absorb energy from him. To where she did it enough times, she was able to fire kind of a mix of his atomic breath and her own power into a energy ball, which didn't do so much except just knock Godzilla down. But it was definitely enough to be intimidating, even though Godzilla had his own. That one was a pretty brutal fight, because that was the one where Godzilla had the giant purple spines on him. The big central spike he used and sliced off one of her pincers. Mm-hmm. And then when she tried to stab him again, it looked like she stabbed him in the throat. But no, he caught the stinger and ripped her stinger off. And then she's like, okay, I can't fight no more. Went up and just got completely blown up and annihilated. It's like, yeah, that took a while, but yeah, that's my honorable mention. It's like, geez.
All right, on to the number one.
Yeah, my number one, sorry it took so long, is actually something I think I've told both Mark and Corey about. It's a book monster that I found, Nemesis. It's like, I really love her design. She's kind of based off of Godzilla's design.
I can see that.
But in reality, she's actually a Greek goddess of vengeance.
Huh.
But she got tortured by an alien race that was trying to conquer the world or something along those lines, and she became mutated and turned into that.
Dang.
But the irony also is that she's not just sharing her consciousness with just one mind. She has a second mind in her head, which is the mind of an 11-year-old girl that was murdered by her father.
Oh dang.
Yeah, and was mixed with the DNA
Yeah,
of this
we
monster.
got deep real quick.
Yeah. Merged with the DNA of a creature that they call Nemesis Prime, which was the predecessor to her. And when Nemesis grew to her full size, she's already as big as the 2014 Godzilla, which is over 300 feet tall, so she's massive. But both consciousness are trying to fight over what to do. Nemesis, she can hear, like, pleas for help all over the world, so she's constantly in turmoil. Mygo, the girl, is trying to appease her by, like, no, we don't need to kill everything. We don't need to go and avenge everybody. You need to focus on what's truly important. Which it does eventually work out, but in the first book, she's pretty much just a mindless monster. But all those like orange patches on her body, I can't remember exactly what they say those are filled with, but they're kind of like a without the effects of, but in same contrast to a nuclear blast.
Oh dang.
So like, yeah, you never actually want to puncture those patches.
Or you're gonna blow up.
Pretty much. But the thing about her is she can, like, as soon as they burst, they immediately cauterize and immediately refill with the liquid, so she's armed in a second as soon as she blows.
Dang.
But she is just absolutely immense. Her powers are insane. She's got human intelligence, but I just love her so much in the book. She fights so many interesting monsters. She fights a Cthulhu lookalike called Lovecraft.
Appropriate.
And a creature called Geiger, which is based off of the creator of the Alien franchise, because it looks like a xenomorph.
Nice.
So many crazy monsters, and teaming up with people to fight alongside her. It's almost like the anime Godzilla series, the cartoon from the 98 one, but and more so that she actually doesn't so much see the people as like parental, but as kind of like protector and guardian. Like, she actually will protect the person that's the most that she's attached to the most, because in the first book she's actually just so dead set on killing one particular person, her father, who murdered her. And when the main guy offers him up to her, one, yes, she does kill him, and then two, after that, she respects him now, so whenever in the second book when there's all these monsters trying to kill him, she shows up and acts like a giant bodyguard. Which is hilarious, because she, being human intelligence, she slowly tortures the people that she kills. The monster that was attacking was barely even coming up to her knee, and it still tried to attack. It fought well, but not much, where all she had to do was just backhand it, and it goes, and she sends it flying. It kept trying, but she's like, all right, I had enough of you. She just grabs it, pins it down, rips off a leg, and just lets it squirm around for a little while, picks it back up, and then rips it in half, and then stabs its head down on a spike.
Like a boss.
Yeah, and then she just gets up, looks at the guy in a helicopter flying around her, and just walks back out to sea. It's like, okay, I did my job. But
Yeah, I really like the design, though. Really cool.
5 books worth of stuff was made from her.
Sheesh.
And even in all these other books that this guy has done, she's still referenced in quite a few of them. So it's a very interesting thing. I love it. Her roar is actually enough to almost seem like an earthquake. It resonates so far and so wide that it almost drops people to their knees when they hear it. But yeah, I just really love Nemesis. She is just absolutely amazing, and God, I just wish they would make a movie of her.
Do it.
I don't know if they ever will, but
Legendary Pictures or somebody.
Oh God, if Legendary did, she'd be amazing. But yeah, that's my number one.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Man, I think you spent like twice the amount of time on your honorable mentions as you did on your number one.
Well, there was interesting.
Oh yeah.
And I guess for anybody that would be interested in the book series itself, the first one is just called Project Nemesis.
Man, Brian, you showed up like right at the end, bro.
Yeah.
Hope you saw most of the video.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess that's our top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10 giant monster kaiju with design, everything else about them stuff. But yeah, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
I'll bleep.
Oh God.
All right, this has been where's the sunglasses? You put them up? All right.
Jeez.
All right, let me re-equip these for reasons. This has been Office of Mango and Andrew, who doesn't have a title because he's because he's awesome. Great hair though. Signing out. Later.